Hopefully, we get a real mazel tov today when we finish this incredibly difficult masechta. Okay, so let's try. Last line, 13a. Shalu Talmidav Asher Eliezer b'nei Maha Kol Moishlim Akbarim. Why does everybody rule over the mice? Mipnei Shesuran Ra. Because Mipnei Shesuran Ra. Because I think their nature is evil. One second. One second. Because Shesuran Ra. Yeah, their nature is evil. So Maihi, what does that mean? Rava Omar, Afilu Glimi Gaitzi. That they even gonna eat, they're gonna chew through even people's clothing. Next page, Rapap Amar Afilu Sufsa Mara Gaitzi. Even the like the handle of a small axe or which is wooden, let's say. So they're even gonna chew through that. That evil nature, the result is everyone rules over them. Even though I guess we're scared of mice, but really everyone rules over the mice. Now we're going to get to a number of things that cause someone to forget their learning, and pointed out there, Rav Chaim Kanievsky has an entire sefer about this, going through how it applies nowadays, which is interesting. Five things help a person forget their learning. This is why it's here. Food that a mouse ate from, if you eat from that causes forgetfulness and learning. And also from which a cat eats. One who eats heart of an animal. The haragil bezeisim, one who eats a lot of olives. The hashosim shel shir rechitza, you drink the water that was left over from your bath. The mayim shel shir rechitza, the harochetz raglav zul gabzu, you wash your feet one on top of the other. V'yesh omrim afa min hakelev takas meiroshosav, also putting clothing under your head, that also is something which causes forgetfulness. Chamisha dvarim meishivim esalimud, but there are also five things that help you regain your learning, retain your learning. Pas bechamin, bread in charcoal, in ashes, v'koshken bechamin, and for sure the coals themselves. Well, we don't usually eat coals. Yeah. So v'ha'ochel beitzim and gogelis. We eat an egg that called a rolling egg. It rolls. Nice round egg. Beitzim gogelos beloy melach, without salt. V'haragil b'shemen zayis, and the one who's accustomed to drink olive oil. V'haragil b'yayin, and one who is accustomed to drink wine. Ubesamim, and I guess eat some spices. V'hashos hamayim shel shiurei isa, and you drink water from the leftover. From after kneading dough, the leftover liquid over there. So you drink that. The yesh omrim afa tovel etzbo melach, also someone who dips their finger into salt. The ochel haragil afa tovel etzbo melach v'ochel. You dip your finger into salt and you then eat the salt from your finger. Haragil b'shem and zayis, and one who's accustomed. Oh, sorry. So that's that. Now, haragil b'shem and zayis misayele Rabbi Yochanan. Omer Rabbi Yochanan kishem shazayis mishkeach limud shal shivim shana kashem and zayis mishiv limud shal shivim shana. This is a supporter of Yochanan who says that just like olives, maybe an excessive amount of olives will cause them to forget their learning, so too olive oil will help return one's learning, will help regain one's learning, retain one's learning. Okay, the haragil b'yainu v'besamim, one who's used to drinking wine and besamim, misayele the Rava is a support for Rava. Dama Rava chamra v'reichani pikchen. So Rava says that wine and reichani and good smelling. Is it good smelling food? Is it good smelling? Not sure exactly. Chamra v'reichani pikchen. That wine and reichani will make somebody smarter. Reichani. So what's reichani? Any good smelling food? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just good smell in general. Wine and good smell. Maybe not good smelling food. Good smell. Okay, that makes one wise. So that's a support for Rava that wine, different spices, can help retain learning. Then we said one who puts their finger into salt and eats it. One finger. That itself is a dispute. Rabbi Yehuda says one and not two fingers, and Rabbi Yossi says two and not three fingers. V'simanech kmitza, and a sign for this is kmitza. So I think simply understood is that kmitza is you have your middle three fingers that you put the coin puts the flour into. So the middle two fingers. So on the left side is one finger, on the right side is two fingers. So that reflects the opinions of either one finger that you dip the salt in, or two fingers that you dip the salt in. So that's how you're going to remember it, kmitza. Because on one side of the fingers that doesn't have the flour is one finger. On the other side is two fingers. Yeah. Okay. Asar dvarim kashim lalima. 10 things are difficult for learning. Ha'obetachat ha'afsar ha'gamla. You go under the thing of the camel, the one that's holding the camel, not the leash, but the afsar, the thing that pulls the camel, the halter. I'm blanking on the word, or I never knew that word. Yeah, halter. So the kol shekain tachas gamal atma, or under the camel itself, is a cause for forgetfulness for learning. The ha'over ben shnei gemalim, or one goes between two camels. The ha'over ben shnei nashim, or one passes through two women. Or v'ha'isha ha'overes ben shnei anashim, or a woman who will pass through two men. V'ha'over mitachas reach ra, or one who passes through a foul-smelling area, shal nevela of a carcass. V'ha'over takas a gesher, or you go under a bridge. Shalo avru tachtav mayim memyo, a bridge. You go under a bridge that has not had any water go under it for 40 days. Okay. V'ha'ochel pas shalo bishal kotzer, you eat bread that has not been fully cooked. The ochel basar mizuma, you eat meat mizuma listrin. You eat meat. The zuma is like the residue, so you eat meat from the residue. I think listrin is an amount. Go with a spoon. Zuma listrin. It's the spoon that you move aside the leftover of the meat, the leftover of the residue, if you from the grease of the spoon, yeah. So that meat from the grease of the spoon is also something which is difficult for learning. The hashose me'amas mayim ha'overes the beis hakvaros. You drink from a pipe that goes through a cemetery. The mistakel b'fnei, or you stare, not just to look, but you stare in front of a dead person. The yesh omrim af hakorik sav she'al gabe kever, or one who reads the text that's on the tombstone. Now, I don't think it means what we think. It sounds like back then there used to be some tombstones that the words would be sticking out. It would be protruding. I think that's what it's referring to. Not regular text of a tombstone, I believe. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so now we're basically till the end, all about giving respect to different people of authority and standing up and exactly what transpired. So, Tanu Rabbanan, Kishay Nichnas, Kol Am Omdim. So, Kishay Nasi Nichnas, when the Nasi, the head of the Jewish people, right, back then we had a Nasi, he was the head of the Jewish people, we had a Bezdin, we had the head of the courts. When he would go, Kol Am Omdin ve'ein Yoshvin, Ach Omer Lehem Shvu. When he would walk in, the entire Jewish people would stand up, and they would not be able to sit until he said sit. Kishav Bezdin Nichnas, when the head of the court walked in, Osim Lo Shura Achas Mikan v'Shura Achas Mikan. They made one row from here and one row from here, Ach Yeshiv Mikom, until he went and he sat in his place. Kishav Chacham, so this is a third lower stature, a regular knowledgeable scholar. Nichnas Echad Omed ve'Echad Yoshev, Ad So one would stand up. One would sit. Why would one be sitting? I don't remember. Until the chacham, the scholar, would get to his place. Unless what it means is as he walked by, they would stand up and then they would sit down afterwards. And that kept happening until he got to his place, and then everyone was able to sit. Now, the children, b'nei chachamim, the talmidei chachamim, so the children of chachamim and the scholars, I guess the scholars themselves, bisman sherabim tzrichen, when people needed them, different stories, they had to go give a lecture. When they were needed, mafsin al rosh ha'am, they were allowed to. It sounded like it was so many people there. What would you do? And they were allowed to sort of step on the people to get out. In the exit row. So, yatsa litzorach, if they left the study hall, then you can come back and sit in your place. You can come back and sit in your place. If you just left, I guess for not a necessity, right. If you left for a necessity, you can come back and sit in your place. But if you left for a not necessity, sounds like you couldn't come back and sit in your place. Why not? Maybe it takes too long to get there. Maybe you're disruptive. Yeah. Maybe you lost your merit for some reason. So b'nei talmidei chachamim. So the children of scholars, shemamunim avim parnis al tzibur, where the father became appointed upon the congregation. Bizman sheyesh lam das lishmoa. So now, when they are of a certain age of maturity, where they have a certain level of intellect, nichnasin v'yoshin lefnei avim, v'achoreim klape'am, they would sit with their back towards the people. That's only if they were of age. But bizman she'ein lam das lishmoa, nichnasim v'yoshin lefnei avim v'u'pneim klape'am. But if they were not of age, let's say a 5-year-old, so then when they would come in, it would not be respectful for them to sit with their back towards the people. They would sit facing the people. Rabbi Lezer bar Rabbi Tzadok Omer af beis hamishta osim oso snifim. So even in the base of Mishnah, when they had a feast, maybe wedding feast or other feasts, so they would make these snifim, these like wooden additions for the I think for the children to sit in. Yeah, they would give them a place too. Amar Mar says, if the scholar leaves, he can come back and sit in his place. Amar Papa lo amru elo lektanim. Also, we'll see now what this means. Okay, good. So, what does it mean leaving for a purpose? It means to go lo amru elo lektanim, to go to urinate. Aval ligdolim lo, but if you have to go and defecate, and you have to go defecate, so then lo, so then no, then you cannot come back and sit in your place. Sounds like almost some kind of penalty. Why? Because haba leila mivdak nafshe meikar. You should have checked yourself originally. The Amar of Yidam Rav Omilam Adam Atzmo Lahashkin Ulahariv Bishli Yisrachi. He's saying that a person should train themselves that if they have to defecate, it should be early in the morning and late at night when people aren't around. You can do it, but when people all are around, it's such a disruption. You have to go so far away to get your privacy. They don't have like we have nowadays. The bathrooms, the luxury that we have in the bathrooms. So it would cause a big disruption. But therefore, it sounds like since he didn't do that, then you're not going to be able to come back and have your place, because we want you to train yourself to make sure that you do this early and late at night when there aren't people around, so that you don't have to go so far away. Nowadays, though, that the people are weaker, even if you have to go defecate, you can still retain your place, because sounds like generationally it got a little bit weaker, got a little harder to train yourself to do this. Rabbi Eliezer bar Tzadok Omer af beis hamishta osim osam snifim. Okay, we also make in the wedding feast, different benches, additions, often at the end of a sefer. So the end after all the chapters, it'll be sniff, like the added part at the end. So to here they added like a sniff as an added addition, a corner, and in addition to the end of the bench for the kids. Amarava b'chay aviyam b'fnei aviyam. Only in the life of the father, in front of the father. But not just stam. Yeah, so it sounds like it's like an honor for the father that the kid is there. But if the father is not there, then the kid can't just come in and say he wants to sit there. Amr Rabbi Yochanan b'mei Rosh Hashanah. Okay, so here comes an interesting story. You probably saw it in Brachos. No, I think part was going to be. I think part was in Brachos. I don't know. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, so at the time, Bimei Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. So Nishnesh Mishnazu. This teaching was taught about this brisa that when the Nasi walks in, everyone stands up. So Rabbi Shimon Gamliel was the Nasi. He was the head. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Nasi. Rabbi Meir was the Chacham, very knowledgeable, and Rabbi Nassan was the Av Bezdin, and Rabbi Nassan was the Av Bezdin. He was the head of the court. Okay, so what happened? So Ki Have Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Hasam, Have Kami Kula Alma. When Rabbi Shimon Gamliel would walk in, all the Jewish people would get up for him. Mekamein in front of him. Ki Have Aili Rabbi Meir Rabbi Nassan, Have Kami Kula Alma Mekamayu. Same thing would happen to people that were supposed to be accorded less honor. The entire Jewish people would get up for them. Amar Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, Lo Bo Lemehave Hakera Bedilele Lididu. Is this right? I'm the head of the Jewish people, and there's no difference between me and a Torah scholar, me and the head of the court. That's not proper. That's not proper. Trying to teach honor to them, how to honor your leaders, and that's not true. So talking. So what did he do? Talking Hamasnisa. He fixed up this teaching, meaning he corrected it. So Hahu Yoma. So he changed it that it should be different. We'll see what the difference is in a second. Yeah. So Hahu Yoma lo Havi Reb Meir Rabbi Nassan Hasam. They weren't there that day when he fixed up this teaching and changed the rules to ensure he gets the proper cover, the proper respect. Both Reb Meir and Rabbi Nassan both weren't there. Lemachar ki asu chazu delo kamu mekamayu kidiragila milsa. They walked in and the people were not standing up for them like they usually do. Amri my high, like what's going on over here? Amr lahu, that it was told to them that Hachi Takan Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. This is what Rabbi Shimon Gamliel established, that there should be a big difference between when he walks in and when you walk in. So Amr Rabbi Meir Rabbi Nassan says Rabbi Meir to Rabbi Nassan, Ana Chacham Atav Bezdin. You're Ama Chacham. You're the Av Bezdin. You're the head of the court. Niskin Milsa. Let's go and fix it up. Kiladi done. Let's go do something for ourselves, that we should fix this problem. So Maina Avid lay. So what should we do? So they want a little bit. Obviously, these are very, very big people, so you have to understand what was behind. It sounds at first glance like something inappropriate, but you have to know what was their thought process. Name a lay. They're going to tell Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Gale Uktzin. So for good or for worse, it's not part of the Daf Yomi cycle, Uktzin, but it's a hard tractate to know, very hard tractate. So they knew that Rabbi Shimon Gamliel was not well versed in this tractate. The Leslie, he doesn't have it in his pocket. The cave and delay Gamar, and since he never learned it, never mastered it, name Elahu. So then he'll start not knowing it. We'll tell him, why don't you give us a lecture on Uktzin? He'll not know it. And then we'll say to him, who is the one who should praise and praise all the strengths of Hashem? Yashmiya kol tilasa. Only someone who all of Hashem's praises can be heard. Praises here is referring to the Torah. Lemi noel lemalel gevuras Hashem mishach lashmiya kol tilasa. For who is it proper to praise Hashem and praise all His strengths? Only one who it could be heard through him all of Hashem's praises, meaning who knows all of Torah. So, what's going to happen then? He's not going to be able to. He's not going to know Uktzin, and then what's going to happen? Na'avrei. Then he'll be removed from his post. I'll be upgraded to Av Bezdin from a Chacham, and you'll be upgraded from Av Bezdin to a Nasi. Okay, that was the plan to get Rabbi Shimon Gamliel removed from his post. Yeah, creative. So, Shma'enu Rabbi Yaakov ben Karshi. So he heard this. Shma'enu Rabbi Yaakov ben Karshi. So he heard about this. He's like, hold on, what's going on over here? Amar Dilmachas Shalom Asi Milsa. They kisufe. So what do you mean? This might come to really embarrass Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. That's for sure improper. So what did he do? So he went. He didn't embarrass Rabbi Meir or Rabbi Nassan either. He found a way to not embarrass either side. He just basically went behind Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Azal Yosef Achorai. he sat behind him, and what did he do? Iyalte, and also Yasef Achore, Iyalte the Rishon Gamliel. It sounds like he sat behind the area where he sits. And what did he do? Pashat Garas Vitana Garas. So he went and he started loudly teaching Uksim and explaining it. Pashat here means he was a Pirish. He would explain it. And then Garas Vitana, he did it over and over and over again. So he ended up learning out loud and explaining Uksim in the proximity of Rabbi Shimon Gamliel over and over and over again. Until what happened? Rabbi Shimon Gamliel said, like, what's going on over here? Vitana Amar, my dekama. Dilma Chas Shalom Ika Be Midrasha Midi. Maybe something happened in the base measures. Like, what's going on over here? This guy's teaching, learning Uktim so many times. Maybe something happened. It smells a little fishy. So Yoav Daite, the Garsos, you know what he did? He decided to master Uktim. So he mastered it. He learned it. He mastered it. And then tomorrow, lo and behold, the Machar Amr Le Nesimar, the Nisni Uktim. Come give us a lecture in Uktim. So what did he do? He knew it. He mastered it. Pasak v'Amar. Pasak v'Amar. And he went and he taught it. Now, he said to Rav Meir and Rav Nosson, you asked me to give a lecture in Uktim. After he did this, he said, Amar Lu, Ilo Gamrinan. So, Kisifisinan. Then you would have embarrassed me. If I didn't master this yesterday, I would have been very embarrassed. So he realized what their plot was, and he decided he's kicking them out of the base medrash. So pocket v'afkinim the baby drashim. So they would sit outside the base medrash. Havu kasvi kushas. Now what happened is they had questions. What do they do? Havu kasvi kushas bepiska. They would write it on a patek nowadays is a note. What does it mean? A rock, stone?
Through the tablet or something.
Doesn't mean like apple, right? It means something else. Okay. So
the answer through the tablet inside. Okay.
Yeah, okay, they would write down on a stone of sorts, and the shadu hasam, they would throw this. Imagine, and then the stones would come flying into the base medrash with their questions. So the shadu hasam, the have mifrak, the shadu hasam, the have mifrak, the lo have mifrak. So now let's say there were questions in the base medrash, and they didn't know the answers. So what would happen? People would write their questions, and they would throw the stones back outside the base medrash to Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Nosson to get the answers. So now, Amar Lahu Rabbi Yossi says, Rabbi Yossi, I don't get it. We keep asking our questions to people outside the medrash, outside the study hall. Torah mi b'chutz, v'anu mi b'fnim. The Torah is outside and we're on the inside. So Amar Lahan, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. So, okay, he's like, okay, fine. Now Linhu will bring them into the base medrash, but they're going to get punished. What they did was improper, and there's going to be a punishment. So miyu niknesinu, the lo name shmaita mishmayu. Do not say teachings in their names. So a sikula Reb Meir will be called acherim. Reb Meir will be called acherim, others. And Rabbi Nosson yesh omrim, some say. This way, when you say others or some say, no one's going to trace it back to Reb Meir or Reb Nosson. So, okay. So, Rabbi Meir and Nosson saw this in their dream, that this is going to be their punishment. So, and they wanted to go appease Paisu to appease Rosh Gamliel. Now, only one of them went. Rabbi Nosson, Azal, Rabbi Meir lo Azal. Rabbi Nosson went, Rabbi Meir lo Azal. Amar divrei chalomas lo maridin. He said that dreams, basically, no substance to them. Nothing good's going to happen. Nothing bad's going to happen. You can't take the dream too seriously. That's why he didn't. He didn't go. Rabbi Nosson though kills Rabbi Nosson, but Rabbi Nosson did go. He thought there was something to the dream that needs to be interpreted. So Kiyaz Rabbi Nosson, Amar le Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Nehida Hani Lach Kamer Davuach. So Rabbi Shimon Gamliel told Rabbi Nosson, I understand that your father, he was very, very important. He was the Bezdin. So he helped you, get this position, the Mahavi Bezdin. But Shavinchu Nami Nasi. But you also want to be the Nasi? So that much we're not going to do. Sorry. So what do you say? Right, exactly. Nepa kids only go so far. Exactly. So that's that. So now, Masni lay Rebbe, the Rebbe Shimon Bray. So we taught the following Mishnah. Rebbe said to Rebbe Shimon, his son, Acherim Omrim Ilu Hayatmura Lo Hayakare. So The background is that every 10th animal has to be brought. So basically, the story from Bechoros goes that a person was counting the sheep, and he called the 9 sheep by accident the 10th sheep, and then he's making a mistake over here. He didn't realize, so he called the 10th sheep the 9th sheep, and then he realized that was a mistake, and he's really up to 10 and not 11, and then he's really up to 11, not 10. So, sorry, and the 11th sheep he called the 10th sheep. So basically, the 9th sheep, which should have been number 9, he called number 10. Then he realized he made a mistake, so he called number 10 9. And then he realized that what should be the 11th sheep, he called number 10 to go back to his original counting. So the halacha is that the 9th sheep, when it gets a blemish, you could eat it. The 10th one is going to be meiser, and the 11th one can be brought as a shlomim. And Reb Meir says it could be made a tmura. You can exchange it. To that Rabbi Yehuda argues. So the Gemara says, "Acherim omrim ilu haya tmura lo haya kare." So right, if this animal would be made into a tmura, he said in the name of Acherim, then it would not be brought. If you were to exchange this, then you would not be able to bring the animal. 1 second. Yeah. Okay. So Amar Lo, so he asked him back, his son asked him, he did such a good job always referring to Rav Meir and Rabbi Nosson as Acherim and Yeshomrim, that his son asked him, who are these people who we drink from their waters, meaning from their Torah, and their names are unknown to us? Amar Le, these are Bnei Adam Shebikshu Lachar Kvoitcha B'Kvod Beis Avicha. They're people that tried to uproot the honor of you and your household, the house of your father. So he told them, Amar Le, Gam Ahaftem, Gam Sinasam, Gam Kinasam, Kar Abda. Okay, but they're not here anymore. What's done was done. Let's just go forward. So Amar Le, he told them back, Oyev Tamu Charabos Lanetzach. So he says that the enemy Tamu Charabos Lanetzach. Yeah, the enemy swords are not around anymore. They've been extinguished. So meaning he's agreeing to him, or he has a rebuttal. Oh, sorry. Right. So that's only when the deeds were effective, right? But here it wasn't effective. They didn't end up uprooting they didn't become the nasi. Their plan was foiled. It didn't work. So Amar Le Hanimili Heichada Hanu Maisayu. But Rabbana Lo Hanu Masayu. So this is true if their deeds worked, but their deeds did not work. Their deeds did not work. Right. So that was that verse in Tehillim, that even the enemy is gone, but the swords are forever. Meaning their swords are forever, meaning maybe it should still be around. To which he's saying, no, we shouldn't keep the enemy, so to speak, around, because their plot didn't work. It's only if the plot works, can you keep such a punishment around. Yeah. Hadar Astile. So then afterwards, I taught this Mishnah, Amr Mishum Rabbi Meir. Oh, so now they said in the name of Rabbi Meir, Ilu Haya Tmura Lo Haya Karev. If you would make this offering into a Tmura, you would exchange it onto another animal, then you would not bring up that animal. That's a question, right? Lo Haya Tmura Lo Haya Karev, or no?
Would not be offered. Would not be offered.
It's a statement, right? It would not be offered. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Amar Rava, okay. Afilu Rebbe, even Rebbe, Dan Vasanatsahu, he was an incredibly humble individual. Tana, he taught Amr Mishum Rav Meir. But Amr Rav Meir lo Amar. He never said Rav Meir says. Because it was said in the name of Rav Meir. So even he still kept this on some degree. He wouldn't say things explicitly in the name. Rav Meir said it in the name of Rav Meir. Okay. Rabbi Yochanan Pligi ba Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel v'Rabbanan. There's a machlokes Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel and the Rabbanan. Sounds like relating to which leader should you choose. And the conversation was, there's someone who knows everything. You can't get him on anything. There's every single Mishnah, everything he knows. Another person doesn't know everything like that, doesn't have that incredible memory, but he has an incredible analytic skills. So that's referred to Chadamar Sinai Adif, the Chadamar Oker Harim Adif. So one is called Sinai. So the reason why it's called Sinai, because it's so clear to him, like as if it was given from Har Sinai today, it's so clear to him. And the other one is called the uprooter of mountains, because he can take your mountain you've built in your logic and uproot the whole thing. So, yeah. The Chadamar Oker Harim Adif. Rav Yosef was Sinai. Rav Yosef was one who knew everything. He was called Sinai. Rabba Oker Harim. And Rabba was called Oker Harim. He was able to uproot any argument. He was incredible analysis. So Shalchu l'Taman, they sent over there to Eretz Yisrael, Ezim Mem Kodem. Which one should take precedence? You have to choose one. Who wins? Shalchu l'Hu, Sinai Adif. They said that Sinai is Adif. Sinai is preferable. The one who knows, has an incredible knowledge base. He's the one who's who takes precedence. The Amar Mar Hakol Trichin Lamari Chitya. Everyone needs the master of the wheat. And just like wheat is very necessary, so everyone needs someone who has something so clear that any question, anything he has clear at his fingertips. Tafilu Hachi, and even so, Lo Kabil Rav Yosef. Sorry. Yeah. Tafilu Hachi Lo Kabil Rav Yosef. Allah Chamelech. Even with all that Rav Yosef was the one that really should have been chosen, he did not accept the offer to be the head of the academy, the head of the Jewish people. So instead, Rabba was the head. And Lo Kibul Rav Yosef Aleha. Malach Rabba Esem Tartishin. Rabba ruled 22 years. The Hadar Malach Rav Yosef, and then Rav Yosef ruled. The Kol Shani de Malach Rabba, and all the years that Rabba was all the years that Rabba was in charge, Rav Yosef afilu umna lebesa lo chalif.
Rabba's death, Yosef ruled the academy.
Yeah, but, so what happened? Usually, what happened is that the more distinguished people would have the workers come to their house. The blood letters. Nowadays you call it a barber, right? Or whatever. The fancy people, the barber comes to you. You don't have to go to them. But he would never do that. As long as Rabba was the head of the academy, Rav Yosef never did something which insinuated, implied any level of leadership. He's such honored Rabba that even in getting a worker like that blood letter to come to his house, he wouldn't do. He would go to the blood letter. Even though someone of his stature for sure should not have to go there, but he would still do that to not take any honor for himself. Abai Rabba, Rabbi Zera, Rabba Bar Masna, Habu Yasvi, Habi Tzrichi. So Abai and Rabba and Rabbi Zera and Rabba Bar Masna, Habi Yasvi, they were sitting, Vahabi Tzrichi Reisha, and they needed a leader. So, sorry. So Habi Tzrichi Reisha, and they need a leader. Amri, called Amar Milsa Veloy Mifrach, Habi Reisha. Anybody who says something doesn't get what we say slugged up, doesn't get rejected, you're the leader. Fastest board meeting ever. Yeah. So what happened? Below Mifrach Lu Reisha. Below Mifrach Lahabi Reisha. So the Kul Ifrach, everyone got rejected. Abaye lo Ifrach. But Abaye did not get rejected. Chazia Rabba Abaye the Gabe Reisha. Rabba saw that Abaye was raising his head, meaning he was about to get elevated to a higher position. Amarle Nachmeni Pasach the Ema. Let Nachmeni was Abaye's name. Let him get up and give an expert and give a drush, give a discourse. So Ibailuhu Rabbi Zera v'Rabba bar of Masna. Heiminayu Adif. Rabbi Zera Charif Umaksha. Rabbi Zera, who's greater? Who should be leader? Rabbi Zera is incredibly sharp and can ask difficult questions. Virabba Bar Masna Masun Umasik. And Rabbi Bar Masna is very calm and patient, waits till you're finished and then responds. Umasik. So who's in these two, who should take precedence? Teku. The Gemara ends off. Teku. Not sure. Don't the guy who's very sharp. Yeah, exactly. So Hadron Allah Kon Mashiach, Mesalicha Allah, Mestakes Horayot.